Hello and welcome to another episode of Cbfu from the shop. This is comics for the week of September 30th, and let's just take it away.
Okay.
You want to start?
Yeah, sure. We got a bunch of good ones this week.
Yeah.
The first one I'll start with, this is the conclusion of Sandman Overture number 6. This is the last issue by Neil Gaiman and J.H. Williams III. This has been a long time coming. This has had like 6-month delays. Well, not delays, but the issues came out like 6 months at a time.
Yeah.
But this is the type of book that the art makes it well worth like the delays, I think. First of all, J.H. Williams, just to start on that, is beautiful stuff. Each page is like a singular painting you can put on any wall. And this literally goes back to the beginning of Neil Gaiman's Sandman story. It ends pretty much where the original series started. And it's a really strong conclusion, and I personally can't wait to get it in like a nice like collected edition.
Yeah. No, it's beautiful. It's I think Sandman's probably one of the best books I've ever read as a whole. The only complaint I could really give it is the art is not always on point. But this art is the best Sandman's art has ever been. It's Neil Gaiman, who is, I think, he's one of my favorite writers of all time, not just comic books, but in general. And he just writes with such a style, and just, he is a storyteller in like the purest sense of the word. It's just amazing what he can do. And it's just, I mean, like I want to reread the whole thing just to make sure I get it all. But it's amazing. It's an amazing thing. And then you can like, he kind of made it into, it's like a little, what's it, Ouroboros?
Yeah.
As like a snake that, you know, eats itself. It's like he like wrote this like the last one that's come out. I don't know if he's gonna do anything more with it, and then it just ends with the beginning. It's really cool.
Man, I really hope he does. I hope he does. I hope J.H. Williams comes back.
Yeah, I wouldn't mind if J.H. Williams just redrew the entire series. It's not gonna happen.
Is this J.H. Williams?
Yeah,
and then the epilogue.
Yeah, everything's him. I think
it's such a different style.
Yeah,
there's
you can tell the faces.
Yeah, no, there's an epilogue in this issue which goes into 2 characters that are part of the Sandman lore. Yeah, and it just looks like a completely different style. But almost every page is like a different style.
Yeah, but even like when he like Delirium's in it, and that style changes up because Delirium's more like a Bill Sienkiewicz thing. Yeah. And then there's a scene with like the first Sandman arc is Sam Keith, and it ends looking like Sam Keith. Yeah. It's really he really does a great job. It's beautiful. Both
I mean, if nothing else, if you've never read a Sandman book, I don't know if you could come into this as like just reading this without reading the others. I think it might be, you wouldn't get as much out of it, but just for the art, just to like look through these pages and look at the art, it's well worth your time.
But you should read all the Sandman.
Yeah, absolutely.
You should. That's like, I think that's better than Watchmen. That's better than anything.
Would you suggest to like people read this first, or like go back, read the first Sandman and then read this last?
I would suggest, I think Neil Gaiman suggested it too, so I would do the same thing. Suggest read it from the beginning, and then read this,
and then go read back again.
Yeah,
and Neil Gaiman, he's a great writer. I mean, he's like his words are just like poetry.
It's hard,
and it's really good, and well worth the wait. Yeah, everywhere. I would give it. I mean, for the art alone, I would give it 10 out of 10. Yeah, it's just a beautiful book.
I would agree with that. Yeah. My next book is the sole Marvel book of the week. It's XMen '92, number 4. This is the finale of this Battle World series. But don't worry, there's going to be an ongoing coming up soon. And I'll tell you, there's some things in this book that are corny, really corny. Some of the dialogue is downright terrible. The art is not very good. Now, all that said, I started reading comics in the 90s with the X-Men, and so this is for me. Like, this book is for me. The cartoon was one of like the first like real things, like cartoons that was just amazing comic book cartoons, and it was my favorite back then. So like this, it appeals to me, and I enjoyed it. There's enough like, because a lot of the things that have like disappeared in the X-Men universe, like the Rogue Gambit relationship is gone now pretty much. Both characters are kind of in it, but this book brings that back. Generation X, which was a really good thing, is back. The cliffhanger of this book is really cool.
Both cliffhangers.
Yeah,
because it has
the generation.
Yeah. And then what's the name? The character with Sandra Nova.
Yeah. Oh, this too. Yeah, I didn't even remember epilogue 1. There's 2 epilogues. Yeah. But it's fun. It's fun. If you grew up reading the X-Men or in the '90s, and if you watched the cartoon, then you should read this book. Just if nothing else, then just for the nostalgia factor.
Yeah. No, it's the thing about the X-Men in Battle World book, the books, none of them have been that great. No. None of the X-Men books have been probably the worst ones of the Battle World books. This is actually
it's one of the better ones.
One of the better ones. Yeah. One of the 1 or 2 that are actually readable. And there are some moments in this that are really good. Yeah. There's really cool moments.
If it had a better artist,
absolutely. So it could have used a better art. The artist is just so I mean, it's a webcomic first, so it's a very
the art
look.
reminds me of like if you remember like when I don't remember. Hostess used to have like little comics in their things, and it was this really bad, like fast art. It reminds me of that, and you know, some of it's okay, but most of it not so much.
It's corny, but it's a lot of fun.
Yeah,
it's a fun with it.
Me too. I would give it 7 out of 10 Lugos. Yeah,
Okay.
it's fun. It's definitely one of the better X-Men.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, if you have, absolutely. Okay, our next book. This is the next part of Darkseid War. Darkseid War Part 4. Issue 44 of Justice League. This is by Jeff Johns and Jason Fabok. And first of all, Jason Fabok's art is amazing. I think this is the best. I mean, you had Jim Lee to start with, and Ivan Rice after that. This is a worthy successor to Jim Lee and Ivan Rice. And if Ivan Rice can't do this event, Jason Fabok is doing amazing work on this event. I said event like 3 times. But anyway, it's a bombastic event. And so much happens in this book. It's amazing. I mean, some people complain about different books being like decompressed, like not much happens for like issues on issues, it takes forever to get anywhere. In this book, things are just happening on every page. And it was just really, really good. Jeff Johns at the top of his game, I think.
Yeah, I mean, it's one of the best DC books that's being put out right now, for sure. We give DC a lot of shit, but when we like it, we really like it. And this is one of those books that is that's top notch. It's Jeff Johns before New 52. When he was at his peak.
This is like Blackest Night.
Yeah,
Jeff
Blackest
Johns.
Night. It's his Infinite Crisis, which I love. It's that kind of stuff, and it's great. Like you said, a lot happens. A lot happens. And it's one of my favorite DC books. Not the favorite.
Almost too much happens in some ways.
I could have
used a little spreading out maybe, but it was really good. I mean, that's really cool.
Yeah, no, the whole thing was really cool.
I would give it a 9 out of 10 Lugos.
9 out of 10.
It was really good. I enjoyed it.
Another DC book, because this week is DC's week, really. Batman Annual, number 4 by James Tynion the 4th. I was going to say the 9th. So it was an X. This is a story. It's kind of like, and I didn't know I was going to wrap this up. Arkham Asylum, right? Or was that the name of the book?
Yeah, Arkham Manor.
Arkham Manor is over, I guess, and this is like the epilogue to that, essentially. I didn't know that was happening. I didn't know, but it's here, and it's bringing back the amnesiac Bruce Wayne into his home, and stuff happens. And I knew that they weren't going to bring back his memory here. It's going to happen eventually. We know that, but it didn't happen here. But it's an interesting story about Bruce's relationship to Arkham and that whole. I don't want to spoil anything, but his relationship to just like the asylum and to some of the characters that have been in the asylum from time to time. And the art's pretty good. It's not great. It's not as good as Capullo. Not even close.
It's not good.
But I thought it was good. It wasn't great. James Tynion has a good handle on the character. He always has in the side books that he's written in the backups. And it's just it feels like it's not necessary because it's not. This isn't going to be playing a role in like the whole overall story. But it was good, I would say. What do you think? I'm mixed on it right now. You read most of it, right?
I read the first night. I didn't finish it. I'm going to finish it tomorrow. But from the start of it, I enjoyed the beginning of it.
I like that I didn't spoil it then.
Yeah, thank you. But I like the fact that the villains they used and what happens to them when they're walking through the mansion and everything. I thought that was really cool. Yeah,
it's an interesting. The reason for why the villains are doing it is pretty interesting too. A little bit cheap because again I can't spoil that too much. But I mean it's a little bit cheap, like their motivation. But it's good enough to read, I would say.
The art actually
especially in a slow week.
The art actually reminds me of the Arkham Manor art.
Yeah, it might be. I don't even Antonio. I don't know.
I don't remember who the Arkham Manor artist was.
Yeah, but if you're a Batman fan, I'd say pick it up. It's a slow week, so pick it up. But it's not my favorite, and it's definitely not my favorite in general. It's not
Snyder's level.
Snyder's level. It's not as good as Justice League. It's not as good as books we've read before today. But it's definitely something to read this week. Yeah, so I would give it probably about 6 out of 10 Lugos. That's what I would say. And that's it. That's what we got for today. There's a few other books this week. It's a short week, but next week's a really big week, from what I understand.
Yeah.
And I mean, just come to the comic shop. Manifest has a bunch of Star Wars stuff. So they got pops. They got all kinds of stuff for the new movie. So just check it out. Buy stuff. Buy comics. And
we'll see you next week.
Yeah. See you next week.
Have a good one.